Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to That So Portia. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And you already know I'm back with another review, Friends and Family Hustle, Season 3, Episode 5. If you missed any of the previous episodes, don't worry. I will definitely link my other reviews down below in the description box. And also, you can catch the episodes of Friends and Family Hustle online at bkworldtube.com. That's a wonderful platform where you can catch all of the latest and hottest television shows like Love and Hip Hop, as well as Growing Up Hip Hop and Friends and Family Hustle. You can watch them online at bkworldtube.com, and I will actually link that down below as well in the description box. But go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you thumbs up this video, share it, and definitely leave some comments down below and let me know what you thought of the episode. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Episode 5 starts off with the Harris gang. They're at like an entertainment venue where they're doing their weekly family outing, and in this particular scene we see T.I. He's playing a trick, a little prank on his mom Latrice. He actually takes her cell phone and then asks her where is it at, and she like, boy, you got my cell phone. And also too, I'm like, T.I., when he snuck his mom's phone away from her, like, did he have to put it in his I think he had like sweatpants on. It's like T.I. had a hoodie on. He could have put the phone in his hoodie, but nah, he's stuffing it down in his pants. But he's playing a little prank on her with the phone. And also his mom in this particular scene, she brings up the idea of marriage and talks about how she's about to get married. And T.I., he's pretty much brushing it off like, anybody about to marry your old ass. No, but he's like, he's not taking her serious, like, oh, she's just talking, like she's about to get married. Yeah, right. And that was the opening scene. And then we move over to another scene with LaToya at her house. She's with her mom and her baby girl. And in this particular scene, Tommy, he FaceTimes LaToya in from the office, and he lets her know that some new deals and opportunities have come across his desk for her, and he talks about being her manager. LaToya, she's like, I don't know about that, playboy. Like, let's keep it separate. She's not really here for him to manage her. Definitely wants to keep it separate, like business and personal separate. And I definitely understand, especially with where they are right now in their marriage. Things are a little rocky with their communication. You know, them working together as business partners, they definitely don't need that extra stress added onto their marriage. And we move over to a scene in New Orleans, and this time is with Toya and Red. She's down there getting ready for the trial of the guy who killed her brother Rudy and Josh. And also in this scene, Toya, she shares about how Josh and Rudy lost their lives, and it was ultimately a senseless killing, really. Honestly, to this day, they should really be here because the killing was senseless. The guy, it was kind of like a drug deal going bad. Rudy, I believe him and Josh went to the dealer to purchase some weed, and I think Toya was saying that Rudy, he knocked on the front door, and the guy, Rudy must have knocked too hard for his liking. Very petty, very stupid, right? Rudy must have knocked too hard, so the guy was like, don't be knocking that hard. So an argument happened, and while Rudy was leaving to go back to the car, that's when the guy, he came out there and shot and killed Rudy and Josh. Very pointless, very stupid. People do not value lives. Like, what was that to really kill somebody over? Like, was it that deep? Absolutely not. And in this particular scene, we see Red being a little bit more vocal. And I think this entire season, we've heard a lot from Red, and we see how much of a key player and how a big part he is of the family. And he talks about how he just wants Toya to make things right with her dad. And later on in the scene, Toya's sister Beatty, as well as Toya's dad Walter, they finally come over to the hotel, and they just talk about the upcoming trial and how to make things right and better with. And then we take it back to Atlanta at Sierra's Glam Shop. And if you're wondering about Sierra's Glam Shop, yes, that is owned by Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's cast member Sierra. And in this particular scene is Tiny, Latrice, and Eris. Tiny mentions how she just wants to get Latrice away from T.I. for a moment so they can have some one-on-one girl talk about her talking about getting married. And in this scene, Latrice, she shares with Tiny, you know, Tip thinks I'm his child. He thinks he's my dad. And like, he just wants to be in control of everything. And we already see that about T.I. And Latrice, she shares how T.I.'s dad, he pretty much raised him to think like, oh, you gotta be the man of the house. The man's supposed to wear the pants in a relationship. Women don't know anything. So we see where T.I. he gets his thinking from. It's from his father. So if you feel like T.I.'s viewpoints on marriage or how to handle women is trash, there we go. We have our answer. It came from his dad. And then we flash over to another scene with Toya and Tommy. They're getting ready to take a meeting with E1 to talk about doing some music and some other business with Toya. And in this particular scene, before they meet with the team, Toya, she's telling Tommy, you know, keep quiet in the meeting. Don't say nothing. Just sit back, relax. Let me control the show. I'ma drive the car. I'm in the driver's seat. You stay in the passenger seat. Just be on hush. And they're actually in the meeting now with the team, and the team just talks about how they would love to do something with her related to music around the holiday to show kind of like that holiday and family spirit. And so, you know, Latoya, she's on board, and it sounds nice. And Tommy, you know, he's supposed to be over there being quiet, and now he speaks up and talks about how they could possibly do some things in Dallas because he knows some people. He could bring in some songwriters, or he could do some writing himself. And Latoya, you know, it's written all over her face, her body language. She like, oh, didn't I tell this man to shut his ass up, to be quiet? But you know, the business meeting, it actually goes well, and the team is really interested in working with Latoya. Flash over to another scene at T.I.'s house, and in walks Latrice's boyfriend, and it is a guy named Bruce. Bruce is someone that she's been on and off with for several years, at least 20 to 30 years now. So he's pretty much kind of been around T.I. his entire life. And in this particular scene, Bruce, he just comes over to let T.I. know that he's thinking about marrying Latrice. They're thinking about moving forward. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, after all these years, why now? Why are y'all getting married? Like, just sit down. Sit down, okay? No, but T.I., he just lets Bruce, he's talking to Bruce about, like, you know, are you able to pick up where I left off? Once y'all get married, will you be able to take over and handle things? And ultimately, T.I., he's pretty much saying, and he expressed how he was not going to be taking care of grown men. If his mom was to marry Bruce, he is not going to have a grown man living in his mom's house, and he still takes care of his mom's household. Absolutely not. Over his dead body, pretty much. And Bruce, he sounded like he was a little shaky with the finances, or if he would actually be able to pick up and handle Latrice's lifestyle. And I could see how it could be a little intimidating for him, simply because her son is a multi-millionaire. And, you know, Bruce, more than likely, he's not that. He doesn't have the same type of bag that T.I. has. So will he be able to accommodate Latrice and to pick up her lifestyle ultimately? And the answer probably is no. But Bruce, he's looking a little sketchy, like, I could probably work something out. And it's like, Bruce, come on, cuz you know you ain't gonna be able to handle what T.I. is doing. But I think his mom's house is paid off. It's just maybe the other expenses and maybe her lifestyle. So that was the scene with T.I. and Bruce. And then we flash over back to New Orleans with Toya, Red, Beatty, and Walter. They're all in the car headed to the courthouse because it is time for the trial for the guy that's on trial for murdering Rudy and Josh. And, you know, Toya, she's just pretty much saying how, you know, she wants justice for her brothers. And we actually see a little later in the day after the trial is over, like, they're all just emotionally drained. You could tell that particular trial, you know, it's just taking a toll on them emotionally. They just look all out of it, worn out. And Toya, she shares how it was just a lot to hear the nurses and the medical examiner on the stand talking about the different wounds that her brothers that they suffered and things that they did to their bodies, because I believe they were shot like multiple times. It was definitely overkill. So they're really just going through it in this particular moment. And we also know that Toya's mom, she's not being filmed, but I believe she was there, but the mama doesn't want to be filmed during this time, which is totally understandable. We take things back to Atlanta. T.I. and his mom Latrice, they're meeting up for dinner to talk about this whole marriage idea. So T.I., he's pretty much asking his mom, like, why now? And that's my whole thing too. Like, she's 55, even though I thought she was a little older than 55. But it's like, if you and Bruce have been on and off all these years, why now? It's like, you're older, but you're not that old. Like, is marriage really a goal for you. And then T.I., he was pretty much letting her know, like, if you marry him, you do know that kind of to a certain extent she's shut off. Like, he's not gonna be handling her household because he, you know, he be like, I ain't taking care of no grown man. Like, he don't want to make Bruce feel lesser than or less of a man if he's over there still handling things for the household. And then Latrice says something along the lines of, well, Bruce has his house and his grown son living with him, I have my house, and you know, we good. And T.I. was like, wait a minute, if y'all get married, like, y'all gonna live separately? And Latrice, she like, yeah. So T.I. was like, you won't give up your house? She like, hell no. So that just lets me know that Latrice, she likes the idea of maybe the thought of marriage, but she really don't want to be married. It just sounds cute, it sounds nice. And T.I., you know, he was just pretty much saying like, hey, you know, if you're not willing to give it up and what I'm doing for you and your lifestyle currently, how comfortable you are and your accommodations, then what's the point of getting married? And she was like, well, I guess you may be right. We may just need to stay friends then, because Latrice, hey, she's not here for it. So I highly doubt Latrice and Bruce will actually get married, but we don't know. Maybe we'll see maybe later on in this season or another season if Latrice and Bruce will actually tie the knot. Atlanta, it's a scene with Toya and Tommy. He's picking Toya up to take her to the airport because she has to travel out of town for a speaking engagement. And in this particular scene, I think Tommy asked Toya something about audition, and I think Toya, she kind of makes fun of how he pronounced it, or maybe he was talking about, you know, he called it something an audition that really wasn't an audition. But you know, she kind of poke a little fun at him, a little harmless fun. And Tommy being Tommy, we know his attitude would be a little stank, but it was definitely stank in this particular scene. You know, he's just not here for it. He's like, whatever. And you know, his whole mood changes, and he just like, he got a chip on his shoulder this whole car ride. And so Toya, she's definitely sensing it, and she asked him about, so what do you think about the E1 meeting that they showed early in the episode? And he's just pretty much like, oh, it's alright. Like, he really has nothing to say. He's kind of giving her that silence treatment. And she's like, well, why you don't have much to say about the meeting now, or the project now, when we took the meeting, you had so much to say. Like, you wanted to be motor mouth then, but you want to be hush hush now. Like, what's up? And so Tommy, he continues acting stink, and she brings up them going back to therapy, how she booked another session. And he was like, I ain't in therapy. You may be in therapy, but this is not something that we agreed to. Like, I'm not doing like long-term therapy sessions. I'm not in counseling. You may be in counseling. So Toya, she's looking like, what you mean? Like, we both agreed to this. Why all of a sudden, like, your tone is different about us going back to counseling? That wasn't supposed to be a one-time thing. It was supposed to be something ongoing until we fix our issues. And you know, Tommy, his big rockhead in the scene, like, he really annoyed me because he was acting like, I hate to say this, I don't want to call him that. He was acting like a little hoe. Like, come on, like, stop being all sensitive. Like, get your panties out of a bunch because it wasn't that deep. I definitely think he has some underlying issues. I don't feel like it's just his mom's death that's causing him to be stink. I feel like him having a bad attitude, miscommunication has been something that he always has issues with, like the anger. I feel like that has always been a thing, probably before his mom passed away, but now that she's passed away, it's just made things worse. And so Toya, she's not here for it. She finally kind of have a little breaking moment, and she was like, you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and ask you, why are you being an asshole right now? Like, why are you being an asshole? You want to have an argument or a fight right before I go out of town? Like, why are you doing this right now? Seriously. And so he's just like over there smirking like it's nothing. They pull up at the airport. She's getting her bags out the car. You know, he tried to hug her goodbye. She giving that one arm, the little church, you hugging a little friend that you don't really like, somebody that's annoying, like, get out of my face. She does that and just pretty much walks off like she's fed up with Tommy in this moment. He done pissed Miss Latoya Luckett off. And then we take things back down to New Orleans with Toya, Red, Walter, and Beatty. They're all out to eat. And in this scene, they're talking about Toya and all of her siblings. Like, they're trying to run down the list because we learned earlier in this season, Toya's dad, he was a Rolling Stone. He was getting it in. He was bang, bang, bang. Like, he was getting it in, okay? He was shooting up so many people clubs. So, you know, the dad, he's struggling with kind of who's the oldest, who goes in line next after each other. And that's terrible. Like, sir, you should have wrapped it up, Walter. Walter was too old for that nonsense. He need to get it together. And in the scene also, Red, he pulls Walter to the side and lets him know that he's thinking about popping a big question. He's like thinking about taking the next step and getting married with Toya. And Walter, he's like, you know, Red, I feel like you're the one for my daughter. You are like kind of like her end all be all. Like, you're the perfect guy for her. So I'm supporting you. If you want to marry her, go ahead and pop the big question. I'm there for it 100%. And we closed the episode out with learning that the guy who killed Rudy and Josh, he was actually sentenced to 2 counts of life in prison. So their family did get justice at the end, and they have some type of closure knowing that, you know, the killer, he's definitely behind bars and will not be getting out. So they have some type of closure in that, and Rudy and Josh, they did get some justice. But overall, that was episode 5. I felt like it was a pretty decent episode. We see things heating up. Toya and Tommy, miscommunication is still there. Toya, she's working on rebuilding with her father, and the Harris gang, they're being the Harris gang. So definitely comment below and let me know what you thought about the episode and episodes to come. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Be sure to share it, subscribe if you haven't, and if you've missed any of the other episodes and reviews, I will link that down below in the description box. And of course, you can check out Friends and Family Hustle, Growing Up Hip Hop, Love and Hip Hop as well, online at bkworld2.com, and I will link that below in the description box as well. So you guys take care until next time.